The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor.
Hey, okay, you know what is crazy? Is I was like, all right, watch this like not do what it needs to do, but it came out, it came through, which I'm super excited about. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. We have JLIFE. Listen. My goodness. Like, if you guys haven't seen this gentleman up in the comment section, I don't know where you've been, because when it comes to showing love, like, you are not joking. Like, you are not joking. My God. What is going on with that? Like, where do you find the time to dedicate to all of us and to yourself? Like, run the story back a little bit and tell me, who's JLIFE?
So JLIFE, as you know, JLIFE stands for just living faith every day. And my slogan is make your dreams come true. Before JLIFE, I started sharing music before I started writing and recording music. And someone inspired me to write music. And that person became my mentor. And he also motivated me and inspired me to write and record music. And after that, him and I also started. That's when I first wrote and recorded my first song with him. Or should I say, wrote and recorded my first 2 songs with him. Mm-hmm. And he inspired me a lot. And even till today, he still inspires me to keep on pushing and to keep on going towards my goals till today.
That's amazing. Where do you come up with a friend like that? Like, I mean, we all have friends and we all have family, but that sounds like a relationship that, was like fought in maybe like adversity or, like a real brotherhood. Like where.
Well, it's crazy because he's a famous rapper too. Okay. And he added me. He's the first rapper that I ever supported. He's one of the first rappers that I ever supported first. And what's so crazy is that I didn't know that he was once featured in the 09 BET Cypher with Nicki Minaj and Joe Budden.
Whoa, that's wild. What?
And he also wrote songs with Dizzy Wright.
Wow. So you're telling me that you went from being like a fan of somebody to actually having them like be a mentorship in your life then?
Yeah. And he's also an entrepreneur, and he's an inspirational writer and a poet. He also writes, he also tries to inspire others, which he did with me as well. That's why I call him my mentor since I was 16. I've been on him since I was 16.
Yeah. That's amazing. So your bio says Dallas. Like, tell me a little bit about your childhood before you started writing music.
So my childhood, I grew up in Austin, Texas. Mm-hmm. I'm from Austin, Texas, born and raised. But my family, they're from Mexico.
Right. Did I say Dallas? I'm sorry. That was hello. I don't know why there's so much. You're so polite. You didn't even say nothing. You're like, this fraud right here. That's hilarious. Oh my God. No, I apologize. I have a family member that's been going down to the States a lot this last little bit. And we were just talking about Dallas. So I was like on the forefront of my mind, but you're so polite. You didn't say nothing. You're like, yeah, whatever. Let me just tell her what's real good.
Nah, it's okay. People get it people get Dallas and Texas or Houston confused with each other. It's because they're in the same state.
Right. That's hilarious. So you guys came up from Mexico, and you grew up in in Texas. So where exactly did the music part come in for you then? Like, was it something that started like real young, or was it like, all right, we've already been kind of like listening to, hip hop or whatever for a little bit. Let me try this. Like, how did that part come about?
Well, music has been important in my life because I was in choir since I was in elementary. I started singing in choir through high school, like baritone, and then I worked my way up to tenor too.
Mm-hmm.
And I also was in orchestra. I played the bass, and then bass guitar or guitar as well. And then here's some things that people don't really know as well. I was also in a band too as well, a rock band for a little bit. I started a rock band for a little bit as well when I was in high school.
That's wild. So you were like, you were touching all sorts of different genres there. Like, that's good foundation for a good artist to come through. I like it when you hear like, I started over here and we kind of moved around a little bit. Is your love for fellowship and the way that you respect that, religion and God in your music, did that start from being in the choir, or was it maybe the other way around? Like you were like, okay, wait, like this was kind of when I was younger, let me pick this back up later on.
I think it's the other way around because I never really went to church that much,
right?
But I did have a lot of faith and belief in God,
mm-hmm.
and hope in God though.
Yeah. Wild. So you were really like, okay, so you went into a rock band, because when I was listening to your music today, like it looks like sounds like you've been comfortable, writing.
Well, I also rapped.
Right.
We rapped too in the rock band as well.
Oh shoot.
We're kind of like how you say, kind of like Linkin Park, kind of too.
Yeah, when they did that cut with Jay-Z, right? That was okay. Yeah, it was fire. Actually, I talked about that a lot on my show because that's like one of the original like mashups that everyone really noticed, that like took note, was like, man, this one's like, with that rap and the rock. That's super cool. So when it comes down to your music, then like I was listening to it, and obviously a lot about because my favorite cut's motivation, and so motivated. So my question is like, where do you get that backbone and that tenacity to stay motivated every day? Because I mean, not all of us are out here doing everything that you're doing. I mean, when we chatted real quick before, you were like, I went to work and I did this and I did that, and you're still making time to make music. So what is it that kind of keeps you on the hustle all the time?
Well, my family, my friends and my family keep me motivated. And so does my faith and my belief as well too, for what I believe in as well.
No. Mm-hmm.
And what keeps, and also my, wait till we finish up. And what.
I love it. No, we're friends. It's all good. I love it. I love it so much. You got company tonight.
Yeah.
It's all good. We got to keep our friends close, man. It's important. It's tough out here for real. Like, it's too funny. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but when it comes to struggling and all that, like, I mean, obviously all of our struggles are a little bit different. But do you want to put a little scenario out there and we can talk about how you problem solve for it? Because I've heard you're out there, staying consistent and grounded and all this stuff. And I was like, no, that comes from somewhere deep within inside, because people go through their day doing nothing at all.
Well, yeah, that's true. So I've been through a lot in life. Like I don't know if some people know, what some people do know, I have a history of epilepsy. I have seizures. And I was born with epilepsy. Mm-hmm. I was diagnosed. I had my first seizure when I was 2 years old, and then I got diagnosed when I was 4 or 6. And that's been a huge part of my life and struggle. And trying to maintain to keep a focus on life and a positive life as well. But also I have mental health problems too. I have depression, a history of depression, anxiety, anhedonia, emotional stress. I even have blackouts too from time to time when I overthink.
Wow.
And I even have bipolar as well, which is crazy. I don't look like the type of person to have it, but I do. But
does it have a face though? Because I feel like that's kind of part of it. I mean, a lot of those things that you talked about, I think, except for, maybe with the exception of epilepsy, those, a lot of those things like are easily hidden behind, your beautiful face, right? And unless I take epilepsy out of it just because obviously seizures are a really physical thing. And I don't know if a lot of people that are in watching tonight know much about epilepsy, but there's a few different things that happen. And, there's like major and minor seizures that you can have, so like grand mals and petite mals, right? And so I guess they kind of go from anything from like looking off in one direction and having kind of maybe like a more rigid effect to your body to being on the floor and it being, it can get quite violent. Am I speaking about that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that used to happen to me a lot when I was younger. When I didn't take my medication, I used to have bad seizures. I used to end up in the hospital like every week or every 3 days. Wow. Or even a day. And I used to stay in the hospital for a month. Damn. Or even longer. Damn. And that would like terrify the hell out of my parents and my siblings. Yeah. And that would upset me too, because I'll be in the hospital with the IV and all the wires connected to my chest, even connected to my head too.
Right? Yeah, the EEGs, right?
Yeah, the EEG or the EKG too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people they cement that stuff right to your scalp. Like, you see those pictures of people that are in there and you're like, they're just going for testing or they're going through it. But you're talking about like those things are like, cosmetically concreted, like straight to your scalp. You got to deal with trying to get that out of your hair. Like, it's not just the seizures.
They put paste on your hair too. And that's hard to get off, especially when you're taking a shower.
Yeah,
And that's pretty much been my life too. Every time I go to the hospital, they used to do that a lot, like nonstop when I was younger. Mm-hmm. Like when I was younger, I used to have them like really bad, but now that I'm older, I don't really get them. I don't really end up in the hospital that much like I used to back then. But though now that I'm older, I figured out though now that I'm older, my emotions trigger my seizures now.
Okay, so it's really important for you to stay regulated then.
Yeah, like I can't, like my depression, anxiety, stress, anger, or emotional stress can trigger it. I can't get too happy. I can't even get too happy or too excited.
Dang.
Or that could trigger a seizure from time to time.
Well, yeah, see, people don't realize that kind of stuff. Like, we talk about happiness is the key to everything, and you got to be out there living your best life. And like, that's fair. But if you have, if you're not wired like that, and like you're out here, you really got to find ways to regulate yourself properly, right? Like on command, you're like, okay, like, and take note of what that looks like, because I mean, excitement can happen at any moment or happiness can happen at any moment. So to be able to kind of like mentally prepare for what you need to do on the fly like that, I mean, that alone is exhausting. That's a full-time job, right? Like,
damn. Exactly. And some people ask me too, like, why don't I get too happy? Why don't I get like excited or happy from time to time? And I tell them like, I can't get too happy or excited because if I do, I may end up triggering one of my seizures, or I may end up blacking out too, because sometimes I end up blacking out if I get too happy or excited or overwhelmed or stressed.
Right.
Or if I overthink. And Same thing too with mental health. Not a lot of people know this too about my mental health too. That I have been through suicide too before.
Mm-hmm.
I read in my own suicide note before when I was in high school and when I was in class.
Wow.
And I wrote a whole 3-page paragraph of what I wanted to do to myself and how I would commit my own death and suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed it to my teacher.
Thank goodness.
Well, I lied though and said it was about someone else, even though I signatured my name, but I'm pretty sure they knew it was about me.
Yeah.
But they were waiting for me to come back to tell them, and I did.
Good.
And I didn't do it until the end of the school day because I felt a lot of guilt was running through my heart. So I came back, and then that's when they had no choice but to get me tested and send me to a therapist to see what was going on.
Yeah.
And then that's when one day I had a nervous breakdown. I think I had an anxiety attack.
Right.
And then I blacked out. Then someone had to come pick me up from school. And then next thing you know, I went back to school. I couldn't remember nothing of what happened. And then that scared the hell out of everyone. And they thought I had a seizure. So they had to send me to a mental hospital for 3 days.
Yeah,
to figure out what happened.
That's that like standard 72-hour window, right? Like to go in and So when you did that, that was the time that they were like, okay, here's your laundry list of things that you have. Like, is that when you were diagnosed officially? Yeah.
And then with my seizures too, same with my seizures, I have like pretty much almost faced near death with my seizures too. I have almost died in some of my seizures in the past years.
Damn.
And that scares me too, because from time to time I get scared to fall asleep from time to time when I'm alone or when I'm by myself, and that pretty scary. Like one seizure I had that put me in a coma for 3 days. Wow. And I woke up in the hospital not knowing where I was, confused, all lightheaded, and found out that I had a virus type seizures, and that's what I used to have was virus type seizures. Those were the type of seizures that will keep you off your feet for like a week or two, or even more, like a month. But now that I'm older, I found out that I have like focal seizures. They diagnosed me with focal seizures where like they move from one area of your brain to another area. But I found out that I got them on both sides of my brain.
Damn.
Which is bad.
Yeah. I mean, that's and that's not even like all the symptoms that come with it, because I mean people suffer with like aurora migraines that come with that, and like the physical freight train feeling like you just been plowed through, and like
I've been noticing that too. I've been having migraines from it too.
Yeah, keep an eye on that for sure. That's one of those like definite like the same way that you're like excited or got to control your emotions, like those migraines can kind of be utilized in the same way that you're like, okay, I know that might then bring on more that you don't want to deal with. How does that, did you make like sacrifices in your day then? Were you like, okay, we ain't doing this no more, we ain't gonna be doing this no more, like swimming's out, driving's out, like where did you kind of draw the line where you were like, wait a sec, or were you like, no, I'm doing everything because if I'm gonna go in, that's it, it's fine.
Like, I was upset about all that. Driving, I was upset about driving being canceled off my list. Yeah. Every time I made it to like a year or 6 months without having a seizure, next thing you know, I ended up back in the hospital because of it. And then
That's
and then
heartbreaking.
and then I had to start all over because of it.
Yeah,
And then
that's
that
tough.
always upset me. Every time I always made it like a 6-month streak or a 1 year streak.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like even like this year I made it a year without having a seizure, and then 2 weeks ago I had a seizure.
Yeah, so it starts that clock all over again, right? And you gotta,
Yeah,
yeah,
now I had to start the process all over again.
yeah, yeah. Talking
Which
about feeling like having things stripped away from you, you know what I mean? Like life's already tough enough. Like I can imagine that feeling that it like almost defeat. You're just like, hey, what the heck, right?
yeah,
Like, yeah, yeah,
and sometimes it hurts you from time to time because like as I got older, because every time when I was in the hospital, it used to make me upset just being in the hospital by myself, surrounded. It gets depressing just being cooped up because pretty much I spent my whole life in the hospital, pretty much as a child and as a teenager. Like, I really didn't really get to experience life, like, experience like a teenage life. Well, I did experience like part of a kid's life, but not as much as I could have
yeah.
from time to time because I always was in the hospital, like back and forth. Because, but then again, my mom and them, like, that's one thing that I never liked. Like, my mom and them will try to make me happy with toys and all that, but that will never make me happy, especially with games and all that too.
Yeah.
Like I know, like yeah, they were trying to make me happy, but that was just making me depressed on the inside.
Yeah. Did you ever have that guilt where you were like, man, my parents are really coming through all the time? Like, I'm
Yeah,
taking
that
them
would make
away from my siblings or whatever. Like,
yeah,
then, they should be out here living their life. And yeah, I'd imagine that would be tough on your heart, right? Like, how do you, yeah, that's when I think it's important to really like stick to what like feels normal. And, I don't know if maybe it's the best solution, but I think that there's definitely something to be said when it comes to just being like, okay, this ain't
yeah,
a this ain't this is it's a piece of me, but it's just a piece, you know what I mean? And like take that power away from people because parents can get wrapped right up into it and then kind of put it back on you like it's like unintentional oversaturated love, right? You're like, actually, if you just
yeah.
treated me like everybody else, it would like draw less attention to this whole situation. Yeah.
And then it's not, and then I always had guilt, and not just my parents, but when I was at school too, that would always guilt me too because every
Mm.
time I would get sick and miss school, and then I would feel so weird surrounded by my own by my own classmates, and I felt like they were looking at me, just wondering where I've been at, or just thinking like, why am I missing school all the time? And then sometimes even the teachers would think too. Even the teachers will always be questioning my parents, thinking that that why am I always sick too? And then that I'm missing school on purpose, and then that would frustrate my mom especially. And then she would have to prove to them that I'm in the hospital all the time, and that she would have to go up there and prove to them that I'm in the hospital.
Isn't that wild, right? Like you can't
Yeah,
even, and I mean, people are out there acting crazy, and dealing with CPS and all that stuff. But to go through the pressure of being at the hospital, dealing with MRIs and CTs and EGs and all these other things, and then now she's got to come with all the paperwork to be like, no, like we're not at home just hanging out. Like this is real life. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
like, and they would understand too. My mom be telling like, if you don't believe him, then why don't you come to the hospital and take care of him yourself? Then my mom used to tell them.
Yeah,
Because my
mama.
mom, that's one thing I can say. I love my mom a lot. She spent her whole life in the hospital taking care of me
Yeah.
all the time.
Shout out to your mom. Shout out to all the moms though, for real. Like, Yeah. They do that. She doesn't have a choice. Like, it wasn't even, and I can speak, I'm not going to say I can speak for her, but I'll speak, near her and say,
I
like,
know it wasn't easy for her because she was always terrified.
Yeah. You're her baby, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't mean to whine, but I just, like, it makes me so frustrated that some people get one thing and then some people get another thing. You know what I mean? Like, what happens where some of us get more of a thicker hand than others? Like, how come you got one hand and I got the other hand? You know what I mean? But maybe that makes you into the person that you need to be, because you really are inspiring people and you really are making a difference. And if you had to go through all of that, not that it's my place to speak, but I don't want to say so be it, but we all adore you. I know the comment section adores you. Everybody out here really adores you, and you've really taken all of that adversity and challenge and heartbreak and turned it into some really poetic things, and like to speak the good word and to put things out there for other people to enjoy. Like,
true.
Man, deadly. Like, it's amazing. Because people don't do a third of that and don't come with nothing, which is fine. Like,
but what made it so tough though, like, people would judge me too for having disability, or people would call me weird too because of it, and that would like upset me too, because
trust me, I feel you on that. I get up real upset too with people like feel some type of way.
And like
me, absolutely.
Like, and sometimes I be telling myself like, and I be like, me, I was in special ed too.
Mm-hmm.
I was surrounded by people who had worse like problems than I was, like bad speech problem, and I pretty much was in special ed till high school. Until once I got to high school, like I saw other things. People would judge the handicaps and all that, and that's where I drew the line and would freaking tell people like, nah, you don't know what people go through. Like, you can't be judging people because they're handicapped, or if they got mental problems, or just because they can't speak, or they're having problems speaking. There's some people that can't even speak for themselves in life, and there's some people that can't even walk either. Mm-hmm. There's some people that don't even have like a mind of their own either, because I have met people in life, I have friends in life too that are like that they are mentally challenged.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah. But that doesn't, we're not less than, like, none of that equals like less of a person. And it's the ignorance that gets the best of people sometimes, because unless you've really dealt with that in your personal life and been through that struggle, like, people really don't understand. And when they see something that they don't know, whether it's like, sexual preference or race or ability or whatever, like, choice, whatever, if they're not used to it, then it makes them uncomfortable. And unfortunately, a lot of the times when people are uncomfortable for whatever reason, they don't act right. You know what I mean? Like, they don't act right, and it doesn't make it acceptable at all. But that's their problem, not yours, not mine. Not any, you know what I mean? Let them have that hate in their heart. That's their problem. Like, I'm sorry you went through all that though, for real.
And there are some people that have come up to me and asked me about my epilepsy, and they have been nice about it too. And I explained to them, like, they asked me like, what's it like having seizures? What's it like going through all that at birth till now? I tell them like, it's hard, like, for real. Like, if I could go back and rewind and change anything about it, I would like improve. I would do like take better care of myself, because that's one thing that I. But then again, I ain't gonna lie, I have tried to overdose on my meds before.
Yeah, man.
When I was younger, to try to commit suicide.
Can I ask you a real personal question? Like, what do you think got in the way every time you've ever done that? Because I don't get very many opportunities to really ask people that question. And, we have our hotline if anybody needs it. It's to, Calico will throw it up in the comment section, but it's 250-289-3948, and it is open 24/7, ran by volunteers. For that exact same thing, there's also hashtag 988. You guys, if you ever need anybody, like hashtag 988 will put you right to where you need to be. But what do you think got in the way every single time that you tried to make that decision? Like, because I mean, obviously the time at school, thank goodness you handed that over to your teacher and they actually did something about it. But if you're out here taking pills and stuff, like what happened?
My conscience got to me. The voice in my head told me to stop. It told me that not to be stupid and not to listen to what people were telling me, because that's actually how all this started. Why I started thinking negative thoughts, I started thinking like that, and that's actually how I started writing music too. I started to put all that negativity and started to make it into positivity and started putting it into music.
Yeah, you do. What's your favorite song that you wrote?
My favorite song? My favorite song would have to be probably like my first song that I wrote and recorded.
Dang. Okay. How long are we going back here? Like when were you sitting with the pencil writing this?
I was like in high school when I wrote that and released that.
Dang. That's when all the good stuff came out, man. Honestly, I came across my old poetry book a while back and was like, this is wild. Like, we got emotions at that age.
But
do you remember what it's called?
Oh, Deciding on Life.
Deciding
on Life.
Dang. That's deep. No, that's deep. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful, because that's exactly what we're talking about, right? Like that conscience and that choice that you made all those times. So what's going on in your life right now? Like, I mean, other than this hot sauce challenge that you need to be getting to because you're running a few minutes late for, and we'll get you over there right away. But what is going on in your life other than that? Like, what's keeping you grounded on the day to day?
Today, I'm just trying to live a better life today. Trying to stay focused on my goals in life, trying to stay focused on success, and trying to have more belief in my dreams. And that's one thing too that I want for others to have, is to have more belief in themselves and stay more focused and motivated. That's one thing about me, that I'm a true believer. I'm a true believer, and I stay true to who I am. And not only that, but my beliefs are strong, my dreams are real, and I'm gonna make them come true no matter what. And ain't nobody gonna stop me from making them come true.
Yeah, yes.
I have faith and belief that they will come true no matter what I do. And that's the same thing with others, that no matter what people tell you, no matter what people think about you, no matter what people have told you that you've done in your past, you can still make a difference in life.
Yeah.
You can still make your dreams come true, and they can still come into reality.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Because we all need that motivational, that motivational conscious to get us, to keep us going. So thank you so much for sharing all that, reminding us that it's never really that hard, and it's okay to like really believe in yourself and to choose the right thing to choose. And even if it doesn't feel good at the moment, it's okay, because you're going to get through that. I mean, honestly, you're an inspiration to all, and I appreciate having you on this show. You're always got an open invite, anytime, anywhere. You just let us know. And You guys, if you haven't already, please go check out JLIFE. You can go and hit him up on YouTube. Please go check out his Facebook page. We have put all the links in all the descriptions, so I'll make sure that they're all on this one as well. And if you haven't signed up for tonight to go watch him over at Let's Vibe TV, my goodness, you guys, what in the heck is even going on over there? Who is your component that you got going on? What's his name? Biggie J? Like you and Biggie J are going to eat some hot sauce and it's going to be like a whole thing.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. I can't believe I'm doing this.
That's so wild.
It must be crazy to do this.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to go and check it out. So I'll be over there in you guys' comment section hanging out. Yeah, no, I'm really, I think that's great. So I won't keep you any longer. But yeah, like I said, if you guys haven't already, please go over and check them out. Anywhere else that they can find your music that we haven't talked about already?
You can find my music on SoundCloud and YouTube and Spotify under JLIFE, just living fade every day. And also too, like I said, I also support other artists too. If you ever need your music shared or podcast shared too, I also do that. Just hit me up, add me, and I can help you share and get your podcast or show like promoted. And I do all that for free.
Yeah, you do it the kindness of your heart.
Me, I don't do that. I do it because I want to. I do it for love and support. And I don't ask for nothing in return.
It's why, there's so much love over there. Like I said, nobody is in and around like you are. Like you really do take the time to show everybody that love and make them feel cared and important. You do that to me all the time. I mean, that doesn't go without saying. I can sit here and talk about the comment section and this and that, but from a personal place, we're out here doing this day in and day out. And every time I click over and see, I'm just like, damn, like, thank you. So yeah, big ups to you, my friend, my family. I respect you like big time, but like I said, we can do this again. So I'm not gonna sit here and get all teary eyed, but I do appreciate you so much. You guys go and check him out Like, honestly, head over to Let's Vibe TV. He's going to be hanging out, eating some hot sauce. It's going to be wild. We're going to throw you in the links so you guys can go and check out the music. I guess we'll see you next Tuesday.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Blood my pride washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up wider. Listen, battle drums in the distance, moving with enough force like army tank pistons. Pray for the strength of Jah to fight resistance. Fight mode, shields up, moving with resilience.
With the strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong.
The further you take my rights away, I'ma run to it. Refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch the color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high, but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that the side of the never showed. Deny my place, I'm back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face, get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the ancestors, running through my veins.
With the strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong.
I can see, run to the light at the end of the tunnel winner.
We stay strong.
I can't breathe, we're gonna get oxygen without the justice system.
We stay strong.
And I know oh, gotta keep my head together.
Please stay strong.
Don't doubt me, please don't doubt me.
Please stay strong.
Tell me how can we be strong if we still shooting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still looting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still hating? Please tell me now, please tell me now. Tell me how can we be strong if we're still divided? Tell me how can we be strong with egos inflated? Tell me how can we be strong with so much hunger? Please tell me now, please tell me now.
The strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant. Please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong.